The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ready to prioritize yourself? Your skin is a great place to start. Dime Beauty, founded by a master esthetician, is more than just a skincare company. With 4 skin-conscious categories, skincare, beauty, body care, and fragrance, Dime offers simple, spa-worthy products that will help bring your glow back. Whether you're revitalizing your regimen with nourishing products or building one from scratch, Dime makes it easy. The Work System, our all-in-one best-selling routine, includes a cleanser of your choice, toner, serums, and moisturizers, taking the guesswork out of skincare for your healthiest, happiest skin yet. Dime's commitment to clean ingredients and sustainable packaging ensures every product is as gentle on your skin as it is on the planet. With thousands of glowing 5-star reviews and a loyal community, the results speak for themselves. Revive your skin and give yourself the routine refresh you deserve by visiting dimebeautyco.com. That's dimebeautyco.com. Your best skin awaits.
Trigger warning here. This movie depicts some themes of domestic violence in a couple different varieties, but one is a very violent form of domestic violence. We will talk about it in terms of the movie. I do think it is done in an interest of honesty for the victims. So I do think that it is a good and interesting facet of the story. But if that is something that will trigger you or hurt you to listen to, I'll give you a heads up when we're going to talk about it in the story. We talk about it a little bit in the beginning, and it is throughout the movie. So be mindful of that when watching this movie. Love you all. Take care of yourselves.
Better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, Paige made us watch
Love Lies Bleeding.
So, Paige, was this the first time you saw this movie?
This was the first time I saw this movie, and I had seen the trailer for it. I had heard a bunch of buzz about it when it came out.
I remember seeing the trailer too, yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly, and some people had asked us to do it on Horror Virgin, and I was like, do we do it there? I don't think it fits on Horror Virgin. I definitely think it fits here in our erotic thriller month.
I think it does fit here more than Horror Virgin, but it's got some magical realism that, like,
I do love.
You kind of also get in horror, so I get why people would have said either way.
Either way, there's a lot I like about this. Is it perfect? No movie is perfect, but this is pretty good. First of all, I think these are the sexiest sex scenes we've had so far in our erotic thriller month.
By far, yes.
By far.
Yeah.
Killing it. Secondly, I love that this is an erotic thriller that doesn't hinge on infidelity. I thought that was fun for us.
It's kind of just like a cool, gritty drama, like crime drama, kind of.
Yeah.
I was going to say cop drama, but the cops in this are so terrible.
Oh my God. Yeah. What cops? But like, I still qualify this this reminds me of kind of like a vein of movies like A Natural Born Killers or like a Monster or even a little bit of Thelma and Louise, where it's like, is it a love story? Yes. Are we concerned about these people? Definitely. Are there questionable motivations abounding? Yes. But like, boy, is it a fun ride. I was hooked from like 10 minutes in.
Yeah. I thought it was great. It was kind of, I mean, you're watching people be terrible because they're terrible people. Yeah, but like,
yes, yeah.
I mean, you also get to see Ed Harris looking older than he's ever looked, having the craziest bed skirt I've ever seen around his dome.
Oh, Lord. Jake watched this with me, which Jake and I don't often get a chance to watch these movies together. This was a fun exception. And when Ed Harris came on the screen, he was like, more like Ed Harris, am I right? And we had to pause and laugh.
He's got a 104 head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's, super dome. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, but he's also like a terrible, terrible dude. So like, you know,
Right,
you kind of
right.
get it. And the fact that like Franco also has a rat tail, you're like, fuck. I mean, I guess Beth would find that attractive if Ed Harris's head is that nuts. So like, I guess she'd be like, yeah, I'm just into dudes with like the wildest weird hair you've ever seen, just like my daddy did it.
Just like my daddy did. Here's the crazy thing that I actually like about this versus the other erotic thrillers we have recently done. Almost every terrible thing that happens, that at least we see on screen, we will find out that a lot of stuff happened before the world of this movie starts. I'm not including that.
Right.
As far as the crimes we see on screen, almost every crime is done with good intentions. It is truly a movie of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People are doing things because they're like, but I love this person and they need this and I have to, and it just goes so wrong.
So I have to kill these other people.
I have to kill these other people. It's essentially, it's like people with no filter, just singularly focused on trying to make another person happy, which is toxic and bad in its own way. But like, it's kind of refreshing to have that as opposed to, well, fuck the other person, I'm going to have an affair, and then murder happens, right?
I mean, that's been like the last 2 or 3 weeks on this show.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to get a reprieve from that.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of a nice break, at least for me.
Yeah. I honestly feel like it's kind of, okay, follow me on this.
Sure.
This movie felt sort of like a combination between Drive,
Okay.
but you're like, instead of a male protagonist, you have a female protagonist, right?
Yes.
And the movie Heat.
Yeah, sure.
Which I realize is weird, but it's like a late 1980s, maybe 1990, like really like.
This is like early 90s. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like right in there. I think you even see the Berlin Wall in the news, which I think happened in like at the end of 89.
So this might be 89. Yeah.
So like, I mean, but it's either way, it's like right at that time period. And it just felt like really gritty and like a crime drama. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really love like, where's the fucking van from like Heat and stuff. But man, I really dug the vibe of the movie. When she first kills Franco, spoiler alert, and she is like standing over him and she looks 8.5 feet tall.
Yep.
And that's like the first sort of quote magical realism we see.
Yeah.
Man, I loved it. I was like, man, A24 gonna A24 and they've got my number because I'm into it.
Oh, this is like if A24 did a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, kind of.
And I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like an hour and 7 minutes into the movie, like it changes.
Oh boy, do it ever.
When Jack throws up on stage. I was like, oh my God, she just threw up a Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
Is that her vampire power? She can like teleport wherever someone that loves her is as long as that person throws her up? I haven't gotten through Twilight, guys. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it goes.
Not sure. I think she imprinted on Kristen Stewart. I feel like if there's one thing that A24 nails every single time, it's depiction of drug hallucinations on screen.
Yeah.
They are so good at it.
A lot of their movies use that so well.
Be it Midsummer, be it Here, be it Talk to Me, be it like, it's so good. Actually, Talk to Me might be Neon. I don't remember, but they do a good job in a lot of A24 movies.
Yeah, they do. The one that sticks out to me the most is Midsummer.
Yeah. Oh, Midsummer's fantastic for that.
Because some of it's really subtle in that movie, but like fantastically done. It's just really subtle because the way it sort of slides in, you know, which is pretty great. I called that Daisy was like, I think someone who, I'll be honest with you, Kristen Stewart, Lou. I'll refer to Ed Harris as Lou Sr. or her dad or whatever.
Lou Sr., Lou Jr., yes.
But like Lou, as Kristen Stewart, rocked Daisy's world one night after she got drunk.
Sure.
Or whatever. And like, they hooked up once, more or less.
Yes.
Lou isn't super into Daisy at all. It just happened, you know? It was like one of those kind of hookups.
Sure.
That like Lou doesn't want to repeat again, but Daisy like changed her life and is like in love with Lou. And it makes me feel so bad for, honestly, both of them throughout the entire movie.
Yes. I do feel bad for both of them because I don't feel like Lou is leading her on at all.
No,
I feel like
I
every
don't.
interaction Lou has with her is like, yeah, maybe another time. Like, no, like she is giving her all the no's in the world.
That is exactly how Kristen Stewart was dealing with Robert on set
Right.
of Twilight. He was like, you want to go hang out? He was like, yeah, maybe later. I'm not into this. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe later. I don't know. There's this werewolf over here.
We gotta save our chemistry for on screen.
Yeah. But and Daisy is blind to the nose because of what she wants, but also Daisy's very manipulative. She is very much
Subtly so. Yes.
subtly so, using guilt, using leverage to try and get what she wants, which by the way, if you have to convince someone to like you, don't. Spoiler, don't.
Okay, here's the deal. I think if Daisy wasn't coming on so strong,
She probably would like her. Yeah.
at least as a friend, like I don't know that. I mean, Kristen Stewart might just not be into Daisy, right? Because Daisy
Sure.
might not look the way that Kristen Stewart's into. I don't know. That's not really discussed. But like, they could at least be friends. I don't know. Like,
I think they are friends, and Daisy is straining that friendship
Yes.
with her contact. Yes.
yeah, because like at the beginning you're like, damn, Daisy can't read a room.
No.
And then you like realize through the, oh my God, she can't read a room. But also like, okay, she definitely got her world rocked, and she is like P-wordnatized and like has got to get some Kristen Stewart in her life, but like instead she gets a bullet in her head, and it's like real sad. Like I feel so bad for Daisy, guys.
I do, because she does end up in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
And for that, I do absolutely feel bad. That shouldn't have had to happen to her. But there are also things that she does that I'm like, don't do this to people. Again, if you have to try and convince someone to like you, don't.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's
Do
not.
not do that. It's not going to turn out good for you. Just live your life, be who you are. You will attract what is meant for you.
Yeah, Daisy will definitely, well, she won't because she's dead, but
Sure.
she definitely could have found someone else to make out with and like, fool around with. Like there are other women in town, I assume.
As someone who was now granted it is the 80s, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult to
It's probably way more stigmatized.
right, way more stigmatized
Yeah.
To be gay, for sure. But I was gonna say, like, I've been to a town this small recently, and I'm here to tell you, lots of ladies to bone other ladies. If I was into other ladies, I would have had my pick of the litter. Yeah.
I mean, there's like a documentary about gay clubs in small towns. I can't remember. I think it's like called Small Town Big. I can't remember, but it's all about like small towns with like thriving LGBT communities.
Yeah.
And also some of the challenges that happen because of where they live.
Of course.
Yeah, I remember really liking it, even though it wasn't fun all the time. But I did think the craziest part of this movie was not when Jack was 8.5 feet tall or whatever, or when Jack threw up a Kristen Stewart. It was when she was getting her spray tan and she was wearing her bikini still, because no, they don't wear anything when they're getting spray tanned like that.
Now they don't. In the 80s, they did, because you wanted to have the tan lines. But that was a stylistic thing of the 80s specifically.
Maybe, yeah. I've been to a lot of competitions like this, and they actually are represented pretty accurately
Oh, yeah.
in this movie. And the lady who is Jack, the lady who's playing Jack, is like in great shape, especially for like the look they were going for in the 80s. Like,
Yeah.
nailed it. Like, she looks
yeah.
amazing. And just having seen Natalie go through that more than once as she like prepared for the shows she's performed in, it is a commitment. Like, that is a long time. It takes so long to do that. So like, I was very impressed with like both her acting ability and just her commitment to like the part that she got that fit. I also like, they may just be super fit. Like that may be just one of an interest in their life. Like I'm not sure what else they've done, but I was impressed with them in this movie. I was like, damn, that actress committed to this part.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time.
Well, and we have seen her, I believe, she was in Twisters, which love.
I haven't seen Twisters. She's also in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and I bet she's going to be a bad person because
Probably.
Tom Cruise wants to beat up a girl taller than him. So,
I mean, I basically haven't seen a Mission Impossible since the Henry Cavill one, because I feel like they're kind of the same movies over and over again. But I did see Twisters. I still like the original better, but Twisters, it's fun enough, you know? But I want to say there's something else that we have, a lot of Marvel stuff.
yeah. I mean, Mandalorian, they were in, but they haven't had like a bunch of big parts.
They're still very young.
Yeah. And they're great. Like, I'm sure they'll get way more parts than this because they're great in this.
Yeah, and is not normally that buff. That was a transformation for the movie, and good fucking job. Incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
That is such a commitment, man. Like,
yeah.
anyway, I mean, Kristen Stewart looks great in the movie too. Like, it's clear that she also put in some time to like get real lean and
Yeah, she's real lean, but like not the way we're used to seeing her.
No, I mean she's got muscle though. It's like she's
Yeah.
she's just lean.
Yes, I feel like everyone in this movie are people that we typically see and have seen in a bunch of movies playing against type and doing it great. And I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Like there's not a bad performance in this movie. Jenna Malone is incredible in this movie too as Beth. Like that is a real fucking journey for that character. Oh man, like
God, you just feel so bad for Beth in this movie. Like
you do. Yeah. I don't love what Kristen Stewart says to her at the end, but I also understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
But I feel like this movie does something very interesting, which is portraying someone trapped in a violent domestic situation who has not come to terms with needing to leave yet.
Yeah.
Like everyone else knows, and they are not either able, and it's one of those things where she's just not ready to go. Sometimes you can't make people go until they're ready to go. It's the same thing with cults.
It felt to me like the performance of it, at least, felt to me of like kind of like the sunk cost fallacy. Like I've put so much work into trying to fix Franco and you ruined that because you killed him.
Right.
Like, and I realized that that's insane. Like Franco was probably going to kill her, might have if like he went on a little bit longer. Like
she was going to die very soon.
Yeah. Like
yes.
I fully believe that this is terrible. She needed to leave. She needed to be away from Franco. And that with Franco dead, her survivability goes way up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like,
yes,
is it terrible that they killed Franco? Yeah, kind of. But like, also he should have been in jail, you know? So like.
Oh, 100%. He should have been in jail. And a lot of this is she is so hurt and so traumatized and so in survival mode that she just sees protecting her family as her only option, which includes him, which is so rough. But it's also a place so many women, I think, find themselves in. And as tough as the depiction is in this movie, I'm like, I mean, it's good that someone put it on screen.
Yeah.
Because we as the audience are like, he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Like she is gonna die.
Especially that last time you see her in the hospital and she's got like her whole face.
I was worried she was going to die.
Me too. Like she is so badly beaten.
Yeah.
And when he comes home that night, they show you when he puts his hand on the counter, he's got his keys in his hand.
Oh, his hands are still bloody.
He's got bloody ass knuckles. Yeah. Before we get into it scene by scene, I do want to say this. I think that Beth's character is, narratively speaking, the echo of Lou's mom.
Yes.
And Lou is battling with the question of, am I any better than my dad? You know?
And did my dad kill my mom?
Well, she knows.
She knows.
She knows. I mean, she doesn't know, but she knows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least, like, had someone kill her.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, absolutely.
So, like, knows he's ultimately responsible whether Mike, the cop, who is like his inside man, did it or not. Doesn't really matter if Mike did it because her dad ordered it, more or less.
Right.
Yeah. But like, I really like that. Like she is saving her mom, narratively speaking, throughout this. It's really her sister, but that's like the echo of her mom, who was also in an abusive relationship, who is married to the natural heir, quote unquote, of Lou Sr., Ed Harris's business, because he has no male heir. And I'm not saying that it couldn't go to Lou because I'm sure she could run the business or whatever. It's just like a gym and a shooting range. That's not that difficult to run. There's a whole criminal element to it I think Kristen Stewart's character has no interest in, but...
Well, or we will find out in Act 3 that to a degree, Kristen Stewart ran more of that business than we ever knew about up until that point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like societally speaking, in 89 or 90 or whenever this is, like the son-in-law in that situation would be seen as the guy who's taking over the business. So like he narratively is her dad and then they kill him.
Yes,
I love it.
100%.
I love it. They should just name him Earl.
However, there is a twist to this in that I don't think James Franco knows about the rest of her dad's business.
Oh, I don't think so either. I don't necessarily think Ed Harris thinks James Franco is going to take over his business. I think he ultimately would rather have Lou take it over.
Yes.
But
yes.
Lou is on the outs because, you know, he killed her mom.
Her mom. Yes. Yes.
So like, yeah.
Again, and I realize that we haven't gone through any of the stories. So if you haven't watched this movie, you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? This movie actually actually has a really interesting and grounded crime subplot.
It does. It's really good.
And also an interesting and grounded gay love story. Like, it's got both. It's actually written very well.
It is.
It's just over 90 minutes. Like,
I think it's an hour 44. Yeah. It's like perfect.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And body horror for women by women, man.
For sure.
There is some substance level gore in this shit.
Paige, if you just like removed the anabolic steroids and put in the substance,
It's the substance.
and then, I don't know, turned her into like the She-Hulk, like a little bit green every time she's fighting somebody.
Yes.
Like, it would just be She-Hulk. Honestly, it would be like, what would it be like if She-Hulk
Fucking
was in the
awesome.
middle of this crime drama?
What if this was Marvel's She-Hulk, where they just took like a wild direct? I'm fucking here for it. But like, yeah, whenever they're injecting the steroids, it's like the same kind of yellow as the substance. I was just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just knew shit was going to get out of hand. You knew it. You knew it from the jump.
It was great. But, Paige, maybe we should just go through this movie scene by scene.
Yes, we open on a montage of a large canyon. Not quite grand, but pretty grand.
Either way, it's canyon shadowing.
Yeah, canyon shadowing. And then we go to Crater Gym. And boy, if I don't want a Crater Gym crop top, like so badly, I am going to track one down. They're all in like neon colors. It's very reminiscent of like the Gold's Gym logo, which was very popular at the time. It's so 80s chic. I love it.
Yeah.
But we get a montage of all the people like working out there. We get a close up of a nipple for fun, I guess.
Well, but it's like a dude's nipple. It's like
It's a dude's
and
nipple.
It's very much like, and I think it's really well done, but it's sexualizing lifting weights more or less.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just, they're not just sexualizing male characters.
It's everybody. It's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody. But they are also sexualizing male characters, which is like, that's not what you would see in 1989 if this movie came out.
No, I would say it's sexualizing musculature. Does that make sense?
Yo, that's probably a great way of saying it. Yeah.
Sexualizing musculature. But then we see, honestly, one of the grossest things I've seen on screen in a long time, which is Kristen Stewart unclogging a toilet by hand. And boy, is that gross.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
She's clearly either the owner or maintenance person or manager, I would say, of this gym.
I think she's the only staff person. And we come to find out that like her dad owns it, which makes sense
Right.
when you see how she closes this place down later.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But who should come up but Daisy? This is our first time meeting Daisy.
Yeah.
And Daisy is very much like, want to meet up later, want to hook up later. Kristen Stewart is not entertaining it from the jump and basically says, I need to go help Beth with some stuff, but thanks for the offer. Maybe another time. And gives her some money, gives Daisy some money.
Yeah.
Which made me wonder if Daisy was unhoused.
I think she might be.
I think the movie is unclear. Because
Yes.
we never go to Daisy's house. We only see her walking around on the corners.
Can I tell you why I think she might be?
Yes.
Her teeth.
Because
in
of her
the
teeth.
movie. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
hate saying that, but they look like, they're like yellow.
They're rough.
Yeah.
They're a little rough. They are. Now, that could absolutely happen to people in houses too.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's a lot of, she's always kind of wearing the same clothes. She
Yes.
always looks a little disheveled. And we seem to meet her on street corners, which made me wonder if she was potentially a sex worker. We don't know. Movie unclear. Not that important, honestly. Just things to think about. But Kristen Stewart closes at the gym, drives home. We see her kind of petting her cat, who will show up in very tense moments later.
That cat was just being a kitty. He did not know
Yeah.
that they were possibly going to out them as murderers.
Yeah, no clue. We see her microwave like a frozen, like a Hungry Man dinner
Yeah.
kind of thing, and listening to a cigarette quitting tape, which I think is a fun thing that plays throughout the movie of like how to quit cigarettes as she's smoking cigarettes. At this point, I was like, I'm fucking in.
I know.
I'm fucking into this movie.
Those tapes, man, were hilarious. Like the fact that people thought they could like,
Hypnotize themselves
Yes.
into not smoking anymore.
I guess, just like not smoke through like the osmosis of just listening to a tape about not smoking. I mean, honestly, that would just be like if you had a podcast about not smoking and then people listen to it to not. Actually, you know what? I have a podcast idea, Paige.
Don't smoke. Don't smoke. Just don't do it. It smells bad. It's bad for you. You don't. I know it looks cool. I watched Mad Men too, but like, don't do it. This has been your non-smoking podcast with Paige Wesley.
Welcome back to Thank You for Smoking, Todd's podcast, along with, I can't remember his name, but he played Two-Face in Batman.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go.
That guy. No, I know who you're talking about. Can't remember his name at the moment.
He was in a movie called Thank You for Smoking. Aaron Eckhart.
I remember.
I remember because he dated one of the Shadazy ladies. And I feel like I've brought them up too much.
You've brought up Shadazy like the last 3 episodes. It's like me and True Blood.
But listen, they sang at my brother's funeral, so like I appreciate it.
And Kristen Stewart's driving a truck. So there you go.
Are you saying
reset the brother counter?
Are you saying that Kristen Stewart is responsible?
She had good intention. Anyway, she's smoking. She's eating a frozen dinner.
Hey, Paige, I'll be right back. I gotta go get my brother out of a canyon.
Oh, okay, cool. She lays down on the couch, and the movie is not explicit about it. I think she's masturbating to kind of further display her as being alone. Like, she had the opportunity to be with Daisy, and she was like, nah, instead.
I think that that's the point the movie is making. I didn't think it was like coded. I thought it was pretty obvious that that's what she was doing.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. Some people don't know that people masturbate like that. You're welcome. I think she is.
I agree. I also think that it's the movie being like she could have had sex with Daisy and chose not to. So it lets you know that like she's good.
She's good
on the Daisy front. Mm-hmm. Like we're full on Daisy.
Yes. And we smash cut to 2 people having sex in a very small car. One of them is Dave Franco, and his dirty talk is so upsetting. He also has the worst rat tail mullet I've ever fucking seen.
And that's saying a lot in this day and age.
It is.
But it is perfect for the era.
It is historically perfect.
But it's largely because he also has like this mustache that is honestly to die for. I get it, Beth. I get it. The dude looks like he should not be allowed within 25 feet of a school, Beth. And you're like super into it. Anyway, he puts all the fries in the bag, pulls out, and then kicks her out of the car.
Yeah, he kicks her out of the car.
Although she does ask if she can get a job, and he's like, yeah, come see me at the office tomorrow.
Yeah, come see me tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do think the more performances we see from Dave Franco, I think he might be the better Franco actor brother of the 2, just talent-wise. Because I feel like every time I see him, it's something different, and he's killing it every time.
He's certainly the one with the least allegations. I mean,
so far.
Yeah, so far. That's fair. That's so far. Yeah. But I also think he's great in this. I mean, he's terrible, mind you. Like, you are meant to hate him.
He's great at playing a terrible person, and he's playing a terrible person, but he's not overdoing it. It is perfectly toned for who that person is, and very grounded in reality. It reminds me of, did you see I, Tonya?
Yeah, I did. I love that.
Sebastian Stan's performance in I, Tonya.
Yeah.
Very similar.
I kind of feel like he plays it in this movie more like he's obviously the abuser, but he sees himself as the victim in sort of everything.
I think what you are perceiving as victimhood, because I do think some of that, I think his life is bad and he is.
I think it's like a gaslighting technique.
Yes.
Honestly.
But I think there's 2 pieces to it. I think there's one part that's the gaslighting to keep Beth under his control. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. In the one down position. Yeah.
I think there's another layer above that. I think he's fucking terrified of Ed Harris.
I would be too. I mean, Ed Harris has killed many people, or has had them killed. Whatever. He's the one that ordered it.
Or they seem to just disappear around them, whether Dave Franco knows how or not. Yes.
Sure. But like, I would be terrified too. But like when she like goes to clean up the mess that he made.
Yes.
And then he like makes it her fault for like rubbing his dick with a napkin. It wasn't like she was like, it wasn't sexual at all.
No, she was just trying to clean his pants. Yeah.
So like he like flips it on her and makes himself the victim. It's like, it's honestly, it's gross. Anyway, we'll get there.
It's super gross, but he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's crushing it though. You're right.
Anyway, he lets this person out of the car.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, careful where you sleep. It's dangerous. And just drops her off in the middle of nowhere. She sleeps under an overpass and gets up and exercises, brushes her teeth. Meanwhile, Kristen Stewart is smoking while listening to the tapes, driving to Beth's house. Turns out Beth is her sister. We immediately find out her sister is married to Dave Franco. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is Chekhov's affair somehow.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to come back.
Although it's interesting because it's not like an affair because...
Not in the way we would think of it in the movies that we've been covering.
Right,
But
right.
I think, you saw the poster to the movie. Like, you know that it's going to be...
Jack.
It's going to be Jackie. Yeah, Jackie.
Yeah.
Goes by a couple names.
They go by both, yeah.
They go by both. It's going to be Jackie and Lou that are our love interests together.
Yeah.
And we, even though they haven't met in the movie, you know that from the poster. And we just saw Jackie getting it on with Dave Franco. Although I do think it was a necessity for a job thing. And this was essentially akin to sex work in a barter system.
No money was exchanged that we saw, but yeah, that was the vibe
Job was
for
exchanged,
sure. Yeah.
I
No. I mean,
think.
that was the vibe for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Very much like a quid pro quo kind of thing. And she is hitchhiking around trying to get to Vegas. So like, I kind of get it, man. Like, that's unfortunate circumstances, but like she needed a job and that's like, it sucks, but...
It sucks.
It makes you hate James Franco immediately, though, when you see him. You're like, oh you
yeah.
son of a bitch. Like, it's very funny. Like, the way they reveal him first as this guy who's, like, having sex with this possible sex worker, and then, like, oh, my God, he's the main character's sister's husband? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, you immediately are like, shoot him. Like, I'm hoping he's going to die. But also, in that scene, Jenna Malone, who plays Beth, has her arm in a sling, and she has clearly been injured.
Yeah.
And the way that James Franco is kind of acting around her, you're like, he did it. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
he did it. He is the villain right now, because we haven't met Ed Harris yet. So we're like, villain number one, James Franco. We cut to the Louisville Gun Club, named for Lou Sr. Ed Harris, where essentially Jackie meets up with Dave Franco at the gun club. He introduces her to Ed Harris. Basically, we find out that Dave Franco is like the manager of the gun club. Ed Harris owns it. And she's going to be working essentially like as a waitress.
Yeah.
Because this gun club also has like a bar and attached cafe and everything to it.
Paige, it felt to me like the most like redneck rural country club imaginable.
Yes.
And I don't mean that like there aren't nice country clubs in a rural area. I just mean like it's a shooting gallery or a shooting range with like a restaurant attached.
With like a restaurant and bar attached, yeah.
I can't think of a worse place to hang out than where there's just like gunfire all the time.
There's always people there. Yeah,
I know, but like, what are you talking at that bar? Are you like hanging out at that bar talking and just yelling over the gunshots?
Yeah, well, and I feel like it's one of those things where it's either that or the gym, and there's literally, aside from the diner that we go to later, nothing else in town.
Yeah.
And so this is where we meet Ed Harris. He's fucking terrifying, and he's playing with a giant larva, because we will find out that he's super into bugs, and that doesn't really come up that much in the movie. I do feel like it's a metaphor for him kind of playing God, because he definitely views himself in that way of like, I control who lives and dies in this town.
He does control who lives and dies in this town, because the cops are so bad that all he has to do is shoot somebody and then spray some Windex on him and throw a paper towel down and walk away and he's fine.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy how bad the cops in this town are.
Some of the cops are shooting people for him.
One of them specifically, yeah.
Yeah, one of them specifically.
I assumed he had more in his employ,
right?
But this guy was just further up the chain. But I didn't know if he owned the whole police department, which he might.
I think he might, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jack now has a job at the gun range.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we cut back to the gym where later that day, Jack is working out and Kristen Stewart, aka Lou Jr., is watching and is clearly into it, like immediately. And people are coming up like, hey, I want a Mountain Dew, but the machine is broken. She's like, I don't care. Here's $1, whatever. And then who should come up but the FBI and be like, hey, do you want to talk about your mom? And if you do, give us a call. So that immediately lets us know that some fucking shit is going down in this town.
Yeah.
Like, what all is, like, I would have watched a series of this town. Like, hardcore.
When the guy stepped in with the FBI, like, card at the gym,
yes,
I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like,
Right?
I was like, oh, this is getting deep and I'm here for it. Yeah.
Here for it.
But this is where she shuts down the place like she's the daughter of the owner.
Yeah.
Because she goes to the breaker, not the light switch, and flips all the breakers off and says, we're closed, fuck off. Which to me is like every retail worker's dream right there.
I would have killed. But she does it specifically after seeing two of the other lifters, men, hit on Jackie.
That's true. But it is positioned right after the FBI approach her. So you're like,
Yes.
which one of these really pissed her off?
Right.
Although if you like watch her performance, it does seem like this is just another time an FBI agent approached me, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I think it really is the hitting on Jackie, not the FBI thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we cut to, she is kind of closed out. She's smoking by her truck. Those two guys and Jackie are in the parking lot kind of talking about working out, but they're about to part ways. And the two guys are like, hey, come grab a drink with us. And she's like, no, I'm good. Implying that she's going to stay and hang out in the parking lot with Lou Jr.
Yeah.
And the guys are like, you know, she's gay, right? Although not in a very offensive slur-filled way. And Jackie goes, oh, basically to be like, convenient.
She actually goes, oh, is she now? Or something like
is
that.
she
It's
now?
very
Yes.
much a like, yeah, no shit, and so am I. Or
Yeah,
she is
like-
actually not gay, she's bi, and she explains that later, but like she's clearly into Kristen Stewart.
100%.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it hits Jackie like when he says it, she's like, great.
Great. But unfortunately, this guy's a fucking monster and punches her. And then a fight ensues.
So what actually happens is not much better. Like, mind you,
Yeah,
but
sure,
he
sure.
goes and grabs her on the arm
Right.
and is like, come to the bar with us.
Yes.
And he does like grab her arm, Paige.
Yes.
And then she punches him and he punches her.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's any better, but he doesn't
No.
he doesn't just punch her out of nowhere.
No. Yeah.
He should not have touched her at all and then should not have punched her back. But that's what happened.
That's what, but they leave. So she and Kristen Stewart go back into the gym where Kristen Stewart gets the first aid out.
Yeah.
And they kind of get to talking about like what their lives have been like, how she got here. We find out she's been hitchhiking from Oklahoma and she's on her way to a bodybuilding contest in Vegas.
Yeah.
And laying low here while she trains. And Kristen Stewart's like, that's cool. Why bodybuilding? And she was like, I was heavy as a kid. I was adopted and I got in a lot of fights. And so bodybuilding. And she's like, okay, well, what happens after you win? She's like, didn't think about that. Kind of just on the run a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is where Kristen Stewart is like, stay here. I'm going to get something. I'll come right back. And comes back with what? Anabolic steroids.
Yeah. And they sort of talk about that. Like, have you ever done them before? And she's like, no, but I'm not into it. I'd try it, you know? And she's like, well,
I just can't afford them.
right.
Yeah.
And then Kristen Stewart's like, well, I just like get them for free. I got the vibe that like they were smuggling them in and selling them out of that gym.
Yes, I do think at some point, I think these ones were free. I think later as the habit grows, she is purchasing them for Jack.
I think that's probably true.
Because we do see her do that at one point.
Yeah. Either way, in this scene, it's positioned like we just get them.
Yeah.
And so I can give them to you.
Right.
And then Jackie's like, great,
Great.
shoot me up. So like she does.
Yep.
And nothing says kiss me, you idiot, like injecting anabolic steroids into someone's butt.
I mean, that's what I've always heard.
You guys know that adage.
You know that old adage.
I cross-stitched it on a pillow on my couch.
Absolutely.
Summer's here, and Mint Mobile is bringing the skimpy to your wireless bill, which honestly would have been a lifesaver for that poor woman in 50 First Dates. You know the one. She wakes up every morning with no memory of the day before, and this guy out here is just building waffle log cabins and faking car accidents to try and make her fall in love with him every single day. Like, bro, that's not sweet. That's like a huge red flag umbrella on the beach. Instead, she wakes up married, kidnapped, and carrying, all while floating through international waters like she's married to a Bond villain. If she had Mint Mobile, Samwise could have sent her a quick, don't trust the dude in cargo shorts text, or at least she could have checked her group chat and realized she's in the middle of a rom-com horror story. Plans start at just $15 a month and come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, and coverage on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone, keep your number, and save your wallet. and possibly your dignity. So avoid the emotional and financial manipulation and get your summer savings at mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. That's mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. Upfront payment for $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
But they make out, and then they pause, and Kristen Stewart says, "You're not a straight girl just trying shit out, right? Like, this is not just a one-time fun thing for you. I'm actually into this." And at this point, Jackie's like, "No, I'm not just a straight girl trying it out. Let's go." And at this point, I have in my notes, this gets like a 2 on the roar scale, automatic, like immediately. But it's also really focusing on the veins and muscles. The camera work in this sex scene is fascinating.
Yeah.
But I love that because this is 2 women, and that will play out differently in a sex scene than what we normally see on this show, just in the track record of movies we've done. I think it was really interesting, the things that they focused on, facial expressions, playing with breasts, which doesn't usually come into sex scenes in movies.
Which is crazy to me, yeah.
Isn't it crazy? But like when you think about it, you hardly ever see that. Yes.
No, Michael Douglas didn't play with them titties, no.
No, they just kind of leave them there. Like they're out for the audience to see, but like not there for the person involved in the sexual congress to enjoy. And that's bonkers. And so I felt like this was a really incredibly well done sex scene. There are even better ones as we go. And it's like a montage of, it's implied they're all over that apartment that night.
Oh, yeah.
Much like Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
They go for it.
Much like Fatal Attraction, in so much that they have sex everywhere, but like no one's cheating on anybody here.
Nobody's cheating on anybody. Next morning, she gets up and makes Jackie an omelet. And this is where Jackie's like, okay, next time take the yolks out, which will become a kind of visual symbolic marker for Kristen Stewart's character, Lou, compromising more and more of her life to fit Jackie in it.
Yeah.
And again, I want to be clear. I do think Jackie has feelings for her and likes her. I think this is a legitimate connection, but I do think that they both have some unresolved trauma that is going to make them kind of toxic partners, where Lou is going to be overly like make herself smaller to accommodate Jackie, because she does not really like her life, doesn't have a great view of herself. Jackie is a little too attached, like codependent, because she doesn't have anybody. And Lou, in a way, controls a lot of her life, even though that's not what Lou set out to do, just because like that's where she lives, that's where her money is. Like it's a whole codependent system almost overnight. Which is rough.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this movie doesn't really help the stereotype about
moving in too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, it's the 80s. She is probably doesn't have a lot of dating options in her town. So this is great for her.
It's convenient.
It's convenient. Secondly, I do think that even at the end, even the end of this movie, dark though it is, I do think they like each other and get along. Like there's a part of me that I'm like, this is all terrifying and like wild, but there's a part of me that's like, I still kind of hope they make it. Like it's a little messed up, I think. But
Paige, at the end of this movie, they both confess their love for each other, and then Kristen Stewart strangles Daisy in the back of the truck.
Yes.
So like, I do think they love each other.
I do.
I just think they're both kind of bad people.
I think they are 2 people who very much love each other and very much need therapy in their own lives and together. Anyway, but great sex scenes. We get the omelets. Jackie goes to her job, and for the first time, we're finding out where she works and everything. And Kristen Stewart's like, oh, don't work there. My dad runs it, and he's just fucking crazy. And she's like, no, it's fine. It's just a gun club. Don't worry about it. And we see her, we get like a montage of her working, training, posing, working at the gun gallery, more and more steroids, more and more smoking.
Yeah.
It is a crazy montage. This is where we see Kristen Stewart start buying steroids.
Yeah.
Which means they're going through more than they anticipated.
Yeah, she's using a lot.
She's using a lot. It's going to come up. But we then come back to them after they have been together, one would assume a couple weeks at this point. We know the movie spans about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's been a few weeks. They're spending all their time together. And so Jackie asks, like, why don't you and your dad get along? Is it because you like girls? Like, was that the reason? And she said, no, Dad doesn't care about that at all. He's just a psycho. And then we get a quick montage of what Ed Harris is doing.
Yeah.
And he is running guns across the border to Mexico. He is in bed with the cartel.
Yeah.
He is a super villain.
Yeah.
Essentially. It's bad.
It is bad.
We cut back and like, what about your mom? Well, she's gone. It's been like 12 years. Is she dead? No, she's just gone. Although, cut to that later, she is fully dead. That woman been dead for 12 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they say later that like the last time anyone had communication with her was when she called the cops and said, hey, I want to come in and talk about my husband.
Right.
And then she was never heard of again. So what do you think happened, Chet? Like, of course they killed her. They being his organization. Ultimately, it was Ed Harris's call, I'm sure.
Right. But Jackie decides that she's going to continue working there. Meanwhile, she's posing at work on her break, and Ed Harris shoots at her and fucking terrified.
It's like right over her shoulder, and he's like far away. When they show him in the reverse shot, and he's like, guys, it's probably 30 yards away. Like far enough away that like with a pistol, even with good aim, you might kill somebody if you're doing this.
Yes.
And she's not like pissed. She's just like, oh, hey, yeah, sorry.
Hey, boss man.
Yeah.
But he calls her over and is like, hey, if you're going to work here, you should know the basics. And he teaches her to be a sharpshooter over the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And a lot of it happens off screen, but we know it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And we get a flash of him shooting some dude into the giant crevasse, but like we don't know who it is. That will come up later. We cut to, she asks Kristen Stewart's character, Lou, will you come with me to Vegas? And Lou is like, yeah, of course. And it's okay if you don't win. I'm here for you. We're trying this out. We're figuring this out. And then she says, well, what if after we just keep driving, go to California, I'll get a job as a trainer. We can live on the beach. It's a very fantastical idea from people who don't fully understand what life outside of this small bubble is like and costs.
Yeah.
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 But we then cut to them double dating with Beth and Dave Franco.
Which, okay.
The mood is icy.
Yeah, and only two people at this table know that they've had sex with Dave Franco, and that is Dave Franco's wife.
Yes.
And Jack, which I thought was very funny. And Dave Franco, like, in a second, just, like, owns up to it as, like, of course I did. Like, it's so gross. I hate him so much.
He is so gross. And it's very important to note, trigger warning here.
Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah.
Beth is very clearly beaten in this scene. She has a black eye. She has a busted lip. It's real bad. And she's very meek, where almost flinching as Dave Franco moves next to her. It's a very like subtle but not subtle way for us to know what's going on. They never show Dave Franco hitting her. We just know he's doing it. And I think that's actually I think it's done really well within the movie.
It is.
But he is, I think, a little maybe even emasculated in this moment because Jack is with Kristen Stewart instead.
I mean, it is kind of like a, hey, bro, fucking your girlfriend.
Yeah.
But Kristen Stewart doesn't know that. And Franco's character, like, I mean, didn't pay her for sex, but there was like that quid pro quo involved. So it's not, I don't think Franco thinks that, like, I mean, maybe he is deluded enough to think that, like, he could have sex with her again.
I think he is. I think he was, at least. Yeah.
But, like, no, like, that transaction concluded.
Right.
And maybe it is just, like, realizing that Kristen Stewart is her sexual partner of choice.
Sure.
And so that is a blow to his ego. Any of that could be happening, yeah.
Any of it. I do think the Chinese food in this scene looks terrible. Usually when I see Chinese food on screens, I'm like, oh my God, give me some. That looks so good. Not this one. This looks real bad.
It was the 80s.
It was the 80s. They hadn't quite learned about Din Tai Fung yet. Anyway, but as they're talking, James Franco accidentally spills some food onto his clothes.
Yeah, because he can't use chopsticks because he's an idiot.
Because he can't use chopsticks.
And so he just spills like Kung Pao chicken on his pants. And then Beth tries to wipe it up and he like has to make a big scene about how she shouldn't molest him in public, which is insane.
Right.
That's not at all what she was doing.
It is. It's bonkers. I also think this is him fighting for a narrative of him being desired in the midst of confronting that he was not.
100% think that that is true. And I think it's just him trying to spin to where he's the victim.
Right.
He's just always trying to spin it to where he's the victim.
Right. But that ain't fucking flying with Kristen Stewart. So he stomps off to go to the bathroom. She follows and is basically like, yo, if you touch my sister one more time, I will fucking kill you. And he's like, what'd she tell you? And she's like, she didn't have to tell me anything. I have fucking eyes. Like, black eye. Like, what the fuck, man? And then he immediately turns on her and is like, why don't you check with your own girlfriend? Because I met her the first night she was here and we fucking banged because she wanted that job. So is it because she loves you or did she just need a place to stay?
Which I get why Kristen Stewart has doubts about their relationship at this point. I get
There's
it.
a question.
I do think the car, like the conversation they have driving back to their place in the truck, like made sense to me.
100%.
Maybe not where it went, but the fact that she needed to chat about it. Like, we got to talk about this.
We gotta talk about it. And here's the thing. I think the movie is deliberately ambiguous at this point as to what the deal is. I think there's a genuine connection there. And yes, it was convenient for her to stay, but I think now she would stay regardless because I think they have a relationship. And I think the longer the movie goes, the more that bears out.
I think so too. Yeah.
But I understand the question.
Yeah.
But they basically have this talk where Lou won't tell her anything about her family. She's like, look, I can kind of infer what's going on with Beth, but you didn't tell me that. And like, I don't know what's going on with your dad. You won't tell me anything other than to just stay away. Where's your mom? Why is the FBI following us? Like, I need you to tell me things. And so they drive home very quickly after having like a small fight, but they kind of resolve it. But that night, as they're kind of getting ready for bed, we get probably one of the more realistic fingering scenes I think I've ever seen in a film.
Well, I don't know, but I assume it is realistic. And the only reason I say that is because it's like two women having sex and one of them is like, show me how you do it to yourself so I can learn you better.
Yes.
And like all of that shit, which was like really, it was great. I thought it was like really like a great sexual experience, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But, you know.
This one was knocking it to a 3 on the roar scale for me. I was like, good job. Like, all right, let's go.
When she was like, I want to stretch you out, I was like, yeah.
I was like, oh, damn. All right.
Go get it, Kristen Stewart. Go get it.
Go get it.
And she went and got it. She definitely did.
She went and got it.
Yeah.
She got it. This is also a really interesting sex scene in which what is implied is very much outside the bounds of what we typically see in sex scenes in movies, but also doesn't technically contain any nudity, which I thought was very interesting and probably how they avoided some ratings. Because, again, you've heard me say this many times, fuck the MPAA.
Of course.
The ratings boards notoriously go harder on non-heteronormative sex scenes within film. It's gotten better over the years, but it is still always a risk. So the fact that they get away with as much as they do in this movie is huge. But they go to bed. The phone rings and Beth is fucked the fuck up.
Yeah.
Trigger warning at this point in the movie.
Yeah.
Beth, essentially, they came home from that Chinese restaurant and he beat Beth nearly to death. We don't see it. We just see the aftermath. Beth is practically in a coma in the hospital. She will wake up later, but she is definitely sedated because she has been beaten so badly. It's fucked up.
Yeah. They say she got to the hospital, I think, at like 3 a.m. or whatever, and that she's been in a coma since, or she hasn't woken up since then.
Right.
So I assume it's a coma.
Right. And it may be a medically induced one.
Yes.
She will wake up later.
She will, yeah. I mean, she survives the movie, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do, at this point, Kristen Stewart is like, call the cops.
Yeah.
Call the cops. We know who did this. We know what happened. Everyone is like, we won't do that until she makes a statement to see if she wants to press charges. And this is a point of frustration for Kristen Stewart because she's like, she never will. She doesn't press charges. And one of these times, he's just going to kill her.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to wait until he kills her to get justice for this.
But that is what the cops are waiting for.
Yes.
The cops are waiting for him to kill her to do anything about it.
Essentially, yes. And her dad shows up. And here's what's wild. I do think if she had not done anything, if they did not take any actions after this point, I do think Ed Harris was going to kill him.
I don't know that he was.
You don't think so?
Although I definitely think that was a chance. Like if I was Franco, I would have probably split town. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I mean, I also wouldn't have just beat my wife to shit. Like that's insane. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would probably run too, knowing what I know about Ed Harris's character.
Right.
Is he going to shave the top of my head too? Like, I don't want the worst to happen.
I think that either A, he was going to skip town, or B, Ed Harris was going to kill him because, and we'll cover this a little bit later, Ed Harris and a fixer do show up at that house at one point.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. And I thought that Ed Harris, because he kind of implies here that like, well, your sister Beth wouldn't want her husband dead.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. I'm going to honor her wishes. So I thought that he brought that fixer guy over there to beat the shit out of him.
Sure.
But not kill him.
That could be.
But I mean, like, none of that matters because She-Hulk gets to him first.
By then, he already dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, but Kristen Stewart is furious.
Of course.
And she's like, somebody do something, because if nobody does anything, my sister's going to die. And it's going to be this asshole's fault because no one would do anything, even though we knew everything was wrong.
Yeah.
So she falls asleep in the hotel room. Jackie takes her keys and takes her truck. And we get this like muscle bulge. And Jackie, she goes to Dave Franco's house and waits for him to get home.
Yeah.
He gets home. He listens to the answering machine, in which Ed Harris is like, JJ, we got to talk. Like, it's going to be bad. I think at that point he would have skipped town. Too late, though.
Yeah.
Because Jackie beats the shit out of him. And we called it, when Jake and I watched it, table stomping instead of curb stomping.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. Yeah.
She table stomps Dave Franco until his jaw is like hanging off his skull, and it will make disgusting squelching noises for the rest of this movie.
Honestly, they show it way more than they needed to. It
So
was
much.
gross.
I was fine with it. It looked good. The effects were really good.
It was, yeah. When they're cleaning it up and stuff, and they're like, we got to get rid of the body or whatever, I would have just left him there.
Yeah.
Once I saw JJ's jaw was swinging around like the screen door in a hurricane, because like the cops would have known that was her dad.
Yes.
They'd have been like, no, it's because he's got loose lips. Get it?
Here's the thing. Because Jackie doesn't know that, because Lou didn't tell her.
Right.
I think if Jackie knew that, they could have absolutely left that body and the cops would have covered it up because they're afraid of her dad. But Jackie doesn't know.
Well, yeah, but still Kristen Stewart comes back here and like helps clean up, and like, I mean, she is the one that cleans up.
I think Kristen Stewart has ulterior motives because I think Kristen Stewart is ultimately going to frame her dad. And maybe this is panic in the moment for her to clean it up, but she sees it as an opportunity. We'll get to it in just a sec.
I mean, yeah, it's almost right here. Yeah.
Yeah, because she wakes up. She doesn't have her car keys. She takes a cab home, and as she passes Beth's house, she sees her car. So she gets out of the cab, goes inside, and it's a fucking horror show in there.
Yeah.
And who is there but Jackie crying and just catatonic.
Like in the bathtub. Like, yeah.
I made it right. Basically like, I did this for you.
Yeah.
And Kristen Stewart's like, they're going to fry you for this. Did anybody see you? No. And then she's got that FBI card and is like, okay, how can I leverage this to keep Jackie out of this? Now, what she also might know, and what we kind of know because we've seen the rest of the movie, is that, yes, the cops might come and blame her dad for it and cover it up, but that would make them kind of in debt to her dad.
Yes.
And I think she knows that's a dangerous place to be.
Of course. Like her dad tries to kill her at the end of this movie. Like you don't want to be anywhere around her dad ever.
So they roll the body up on the rug. They take all the evidence. They throw everything in the trunk. Now, here's the thing. This is one of those things where ultimately, because of the game her dad is playing, this does come back to bite her a little bit. But I do think this is good crime. Like they're getting away. They're doing the most to get away with this crime. It is a fairly foolproof plan. There's one hitch, and we're about to get to it.
I assume if when they go to this place, this like canyon where they bury the bodies, had they not honestly probably left the car down there, you know, if they had just thrown the body down there or whatever, or not lit it on fire, no one would have known. Everyone would have thought he'd skipped town, just like they thought her mom skipped town.
Maybe that's one option. I think it's fine that they leave the car down there. The problem is Daisy.
Well, of course, because as they're driving to the place to like ditch the car and Franco's body, they run into Daisy, who was just like on the street.
Yes.
And she runs up to Kristen Stewart, who's driving Franco's car. So like,
Right.
it makes it very clear what's happening.
Yes, because after Daisy, they drive out to the canyon. They pour a bunch of gasoline on the car. They tip it over the cliff. But cars don't explode like that, only in the movies. But the reason that she explodes the car, because she lights a Molotov cocktail to light the gasoline.
Yeah.
She wants them to investigate it because then they'll find everything under the car, which all implicates her dad. And her plan is ultimately to go to the feds the whole time.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the main plan.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is Daisy, because they get everything together, they go home, and Jackie's like, okay, great, I need to pack and go to Vegas because the show is in like a day. And at this point, Kristen Stewart's like, we can't go to Vegas. We fucking murdered somebody. Like,
yeah, we just killed somebody. We got to like lay low for a while.
if we skip town, they know it's like that ruins the plan.
Yeah.
Like, we have to stay here, talk to the feds, and see this through. And so stay here. I'm going to go clean the crime scene. She does a great job of cleaning that crime
She
scene.
does.
But while she's at the house, who should show up but her dad and a fixer?
But it's after she's done cleaning.
It's after she's done cleaning.
Because they don't notice it. Yeah. Although he does like wipe the counter with his hand and is like, damn, it's clean. Like he doesn't say that, but I think he's like, someone's been here. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's been here already.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, back at the apartment, while Kristen Stewart is hiding, watching her dad and the fixer in the house,
Yeah.
Jackie's in the apartment and she's shooting up more and more steroids. At this point, shooting them up between her toes and other places so that Kristen Stewart, I think, won't see.
Yeah. I think she is like ODing on steroids. Like she's got some roid rage going on towards the end of this movie for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and she's posing the whole thing. So she breaks through the window and goes to work out. She doesn't even leave for Vegas yet. She just goes to work out.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you got to stay committed to what you're doing if you want to
Right.
compete on that level, Paige.
Yep. Meanwhile, the FBI ends up at the canyon. They find the car, and they do say, they're like, cars only blow up like this in the movies, but look at everything under here. How many sets of bones are under here? Who can we link these to? And now they know that they've got a lot more on their hands, and they got to talk to Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
So we cut to the gun range where the local cop shows up at Ed Harris's office, and he's like, hey man, they found an exploded car. It basically leads to where your stash is. They're going to be fucking looking for you. And he's like, well, what am I paying you for? You're supposed to keep me out of trouble, basically. And he's like, well, I got to go find out what happened and who else knew about this and what's going to happen. But at this point, Ed Harris knows it's Kristen Stewart because she's the only one. Because we will find out in Act 3 of this movie, she was like his baby Leon the Professional Assassin, like teen assassin girl.
Yeah. I think when he wipes the counter, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kristen Stewart comes home from cleaning the crime scene. She's fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
And at this point, Jackie is roided out.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, how much did you take? What the fuck? What's going on? And she's like, I'm going to Vegas. Wish me luck. Fuck you. And hitchhikes to Vegas.
Yeah. She gets picked up by like the mystery machine and like they legit just take her directly
Yes.
from where they pick her up to the place where she needs to be hours later. Like
Yes.
it's gotta be Scooby-Doo and the mystery machine because they are like the nicest people.
Yes. Meanwhile, Kristen Stewart goes to the hospital where Beth is now awake, and it's their kid's, Bobby's, birthday. So they're having like a party in the hospital, which is like the saddest thing ever. But she goes out into the hallway, and her dad confronts her and is like, you killed fucking JJ. I know you did because I know where you dropped the car, and what the fuck are you planning to do about it? And she's just like, you can't prove I did anything. Like,
Right?
fuck you. And he's like, I know you did it, but I can't tell anyone you did it without exposing how I know.
Yeah, he would sort of implicate himself in exposing her, you know? Even though he wasn't involved in this crime,
Right.
it does lead to all his other crimes.
And I think that's what she was banking on the whole time.
Yeah, that's her protection, really.
Yes.
At this point in the movie, at least.
Yep. But while this is happening, the cops show up to tell Beth that JJ's body has been found.
Yeah.
And Beth is fucked up over it. She is
Yeah.
like horror screams. She's so upset.
I mean, this is so sad because, like, her husband probably would have killed her within the year how the violence had been escalating in their home, but she's real sad about it. So it kind of makes you sad, you know?
Yes, very sad. Very sad. But they pull the car out. They find all the bodies below. Now there's trouble in River City. It's bad.
Yeah, there's like a ton of bodies. Like when they show the guy rappelling down, he's like, well, the car's just like wedged up here. Let me get down and see if I can get under it and see what's down here. And then there's like a shitload of bodies down there.
So many bodies.
Yeah.
So many bodies. Meanwhile, at the competition in Vegas, Jackie looks fucking haunted. Like, she is messed up. And this is, again, A24 doing incredible drug segments. So good.
Yeah.
But she makes it on stage. She hallucinates that Lou made it there and is like, fucking get it. Go for it. She does her performance, poses. We get a flashback to the cavern and the crime. And in her mind, she barfs up Lou like a Kristen Stewart.
Oh, man.
But we cut to real life where she's just thrown up in the middle of the stage and then runs backstage and beats up another contestant.
Yeah.
So she is arrested.
Yeah. But it's very much like, because of the really well done A24 does the drug hallucination stuff that we were talking about, like, you sort of understand that this is her like roid rage. It's not really like,
yeah.
I don't think she is ultimately a very violent person. I think her overdosing on steroids has made everything go, when it's like anger related, goes right to 11, you know?
Yes.
So she just has no impulse control over that part of her like personality right now.
Yep. Meanwhile, Daisy shows up and is like, hey, I saw you the other night in the cars. You were driving JJ's car. Like, she knows that JJ's body's been found, that JJ's missing. She knows she saw them in the car, and she is going to use that as leverage to try and get Kristen Stewart back. And so Kristen Stewart takes her out to Winky's, which is like the diner, and takes her back to the apartment where it's implied that they probably hook up, because I think she's trying to like buy her silence a little bit.
Well, I mean, and they do hook up because Kristen Stewart says, I didn't want to do that. I did that for you so she wouldn't tell anybody.
Right.
So she definitely does have sex with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jackie is being booked into prison. She tries to call Kristen Stewart. She doesn't get through. So instead, she calls Ed Harris, who comes and takes her out.
Who is her boss? I kind of had forgotten about that part.
That he was her boss, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't really show her at work much. And then you realize, oh, shit. She does have like some loyalties to Ed Harris because they've been working together for like a month.
Yes. And so he's like, hey, Kristen Stewart probably didn't tell you a bunch of stuff, but like, I own the gym. Don't kill people without a plan. You guys left a witness. So if you don't take care of this witness, Kristen Stewart might be in big trouble as well. And you love her, don't you? So like, you need to help her out.
Yeah, he like pretty much all but shoots Daisy. Like, he like cocks the gun and hands it to Jack, and then Jack goes and shoots her. Like, it's so Ed Harris's plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And part of the reason he does that, not only because Daisy's a loose end, like the second Daisy talked, Daisy was dead.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But he knows that if he can pin another murder on Jackie, then he can get Lou to do what he wants. So Jackie shows up and shoots Daisy with a silencer. Lou tries to clean it up, rolls it up into another rug. So many RIP rugs in this movie. Puts it behind her couch because who should show up but the FBI? And they're asking questions, and it is implied that she tells them everything.
I hope she does.
Except for the body behind the couch.
Oh, yeah, which the cat is trying to lick up.
Right.
And there's this whole like, oh my God, are they going to notice the cat licking up the blood behind the couch?
Right.
Which guys, there are two cops, one of which is like looking around her house. And they don't see...
In the other room, though, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, but he's there to snoop. And you don't think he would see the rolled up carpet with a body in it just behind the couch?
Guess not.
I would notice that.
I would notice that too, I feel like. But they don't.
Worst cops ever.
Anyway, but Jackie tries to call, because Jackie runs away after. She calls her family, and they're basically like, stay away from us forever, you monster. Implied, I think, that because she likes girls, they kicked her out. I think that's why she asked in the beginning if that's why.
I think so too. I don't know that that's confirmed, but that's the vibe I got.
That's definitely the vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely the vibe. Anyway, we cut to Jackie goes back to Ed Harris to basically be like, I did it. I confirmed it. And he knocks her unconscious.
Yeah. Dude, when he like pops out from behind the door and hits her in the back of the head,
yep,
it happens so fast. it just looks like a lady.
Yes.
Because it's like got the crazy long bed. Honestly, it looked like an old Miss Doubtfire kind of a thing because it was just like a flash and it was gone.
Yes.
I just wanted to like overdub, hello, as he jumps out from behind the door.
But he calls Kristen Stewart and is like, all right, the bullshit stopped now. We got rid of your one witness and I've got your girlfriend and I'm going to fucking kill her and then I'm going to kill you. And she's like, well, what if I just tell the feds? He's like, well, that'd be really stupid. Now I have to kill both of you, right?
I really love the way that goes down because she I think has always been terrified of her dad.
Yes.
And I think that she realizes in this situation, she has a lot of power.
Yes.
If she plays it right.
Right.
And that it's probably going to come down to one of us survives and one of us doesn't type of situation.
Yeah.
At least out of jail. So in this moment, she lets him know.
Yeah.
Or I could just tell everybody about what you've been doing this entire time. And so he's just like, wish you hadn't done that, and then hangs up on her, and then it's on sight.
Yes.
Which I love. I love that for the rest of this movie, Ed Harris is kind of a specter that you're worried about because it's on sight with that guy.
Well, and not only that, the cop, his cop friend, is already at Kristen Stewart's house to murder her.
Yes.
He's already sent a hitman.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
And Kristen Stewart is fucking prepared, has a go bag, shoots that guy immediately.
I love this. The way this plays out is so cool, though, because Mike, the cop, gets the drop on her. She does not realize that he's there, but she sees his reflection in the TV or something and then ducks behind the couch. And then I don't think Mike is dead at the end of this movie because she just puts her gun up over the arm of the couch and sprays.
Yeah.
She's not really looking. She's just spraying and praying.
Well, and then pistol whips him at one point. Yeah.
Well, she does. And she does hit him. She shoots him in the stomach. I think with medical treatment, he'd be fine after a while. But she does pistol whip the shit out of him so he doesn't shoot her later as she's trying to leave. But it was fully self-defense. Mike was trying to shoot her in the back.
Yeah. Also, Ed Harris freaks out, smashes his bug terrarium, picks up a giant bug and fucking eats it.
I was like, man, I haven't seen someone eat a bug like that since we went to that dinner thing on Universal's lot with Mikey and he ate those crickets like they weren't shit.
He ate so many crickets and he was like, you guys made me. And we're like, none of us did. You just went ham on crickets and we're like, dare me to eat this many crickets. And we were like, none of us are in on this game.
He 100% just kept saying, dare me to eat this cricket. And then he would eat a cricket. And then later when we were like, you ate crickets and it was gross, he was like, you made me. We were like, no, you told us to dare you and we didn't. And then you ate them.
Yes. Anyway, she goes downstairs. She drags Daisy's body, puts it in the bed of her truck, by the way. That body will stay in the bed of that truck for the rest of the movie. She gets her cat in the car.
Because you can't leave the cat page. Come on.
Yeah.
You got to save the cat.
Yes. Meanwhile, he ties Jackie up. Jackie's kind of ditched on one part of the house. Beth does not get picked up from the hospital because murders happened. Anyway, Kristen Stewart gets to Ed Harris's house where Beth is because he picked her up. And she's like, what the fuck? Did you kill my fucking husband? And she's like, yes, because he was going to kill you.
Yeah.
If we didn't, basically. And she lays into her about it.
I mean, Beth kind of is slapping Kristen Stewart and is like, I mean, she's very sad and feels very betrayed by Kristen Stewart because Kristen Stewart killed her husband. I understand why she feels that way,
sure.
But man, Kristen Stewart probably saved her sister's life.
100.
Although Kristen Stewart, I don't necessarily think she thought that Jack was going to go kill her brother-in-law,
Right.
But
right.
she does sort of say it was me who killed him in this scene.
Right.
And functionally, I get why Beth would feel like always her sister killed her husband, but fully saved her life, I think.
Yes, fully saved her life. But they end on kind of a bad note here.
Yeah, it's really sad because it's like a sister protecting another sister and that sister just being so immersed in the cult-like setting of her marriage that she can't see that she kind of saved her life. I kind of hope in 3 months, Beth is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now that I have some distance, I can see some truth that maybe I wasn't prepared for 3 months ago, But that's not where they leave off in this movie. It kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, but Kristen Stewart runs to the other side of the house to get Jackie. And she and Jackie fight for a second until she's like, what do you mean I'm selling you? I'm here to help you. I love you. I love you too. What are we going to fucking do? I don't know. The feds are on their way. We're going to try and get out of this, but we need to fucking take off, basically.
That scene between the two of them when like Kristen Stewart goes to like the tennis storage room where she's being held or whatever, and then like unties her legs, and then Jack gets up and like lumbers out of there with their arms still tied and is like,
yes,
Hulk smash, like running through the tennis court. And then that scene where like, you know, Kristen Stewart does calm down She-Hulk and they can start to think clearly and they're like, no, we love each other. The scene where they like grab the gun and almost shoot Kristen Stewart and then shoot in the air a bunch, like, is kind of tense.
It's very Point Break.
Yeah, it is kind of like Point Break, except, and I really want a non-comedy movie to do this, but like, imagine in this scene if when Jackie is shooting into the sky and they shoot like 7 times or whatever, if 7 birds fell like right
hilarious.
around them. But like, it's like such a serious movie like that. It would just like leave me thinking like, did they hit 7? Did every one of those shots hit a bird? How did that happen?
It'd be funnier if it was more birds than shots.
It's 8.
Yes.
Like there's 7 shots and 8 birds. You're like, how is that possible?
How did...
Anyway, it would just make me laugh. Like I love shit like that.
Anyway, but that means Ed Harris has heard them.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, and the feds are 2 minutes away. And she's like, go run to the truck, more or less. I'll meet you there. And with the implicated lines of if I survive after that.
Yes.
Because you know it's on sight between Ed Harris and her.
Yes.
So it really is like who gets the drop on the other one. And as Kristen Stewart runs to the front of the house, I think we see Ed Harris's wife. Like new wife, obviously.
Yes, she's running out of the house. That's the only time we see her, except in portrait form.
Yes,
because she's in a painted portrait in the house.
I was wondering if like maybe I missed something, but like they don't establish that he's remarried. But
Never.
I do think that's his wife.
Yeah, or mistress, whatever. But yeah, his lady.
But you wouldn't do a painting with a mistress, and he's like a widower, I guess.
I think she's been there for like 12 years. Yeah. So who knows?
I think so too. Yeah.
But he comes out. His wife does run. He comes out. He shoots Kristen Stewart in like the leg.
Yeah.
And she's got a bullet hole and he comes and basically presses his finger into it. And it's implied almost that like Jackie can feel her pain. Like they're that connected.
I think it's okay. It does sort of look that way in the movie. I think it's actually when Jackie hears the screams.
Sure.
They go into that like, I'll just say anabolic steroid revelry.
Sure.
Where they like grow and hulk out. And when it's revealed what I guess happens, ?
Yes.
In this next little bit, I lost my mind a little bit, but like in the best way, like in a Baxter reveal kind of way.
Yes.
Because Ed Harris is like gun in Lou's mouth, like Kristen Stewart's mouth, about to kill her. And you hear, get your damn hands off her, you bitch,
yes,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see Ed Harris get like lifted and you're like, what? And then it's like a giant Jackie.
Because it's like an 8-foot tall Jackie.
It's not even 8 foot tall. It's like a 30 foot tall. Yeah. It is an insanely huge lady who is like now pinned Ed Harris on the ground. And then Lou comes over and puts a gun in his mouth. And makes, I think, him think that she's going to shoot him.
Right.
But she doesn't. She waits until there's no chance for him to leave before the feds get there. But they do leave before the feds get there because they technically still have Daisy's body in their
trunk.
Bed of their truck. It's not even covered.
Yeah.
Anybody walks by that
They'll
truck,
see
they're
that fucking
seeing
body.
that body. Yeah.
But yeah, Kristen Stewart also turns into a giant and they run through the clouds for a little bit.
Yes.
We cut to the next day with them driving away, I would assume towards California. And as they're driving down a bumpy road, she keeps hearing something thudding in the back of the truck and is like, oh, fuck, right, Daisy's body. And goes back there and Daisy is still alive.
Yeah, not quite dead, but definitely got a bullet hole through their face. Like,
yes.
Daisy is not living their best life anymore,
No.
which is very sad.
Yes.
Although I do think it implies that she would have survived. Like, maybe a little worse for the wear, sure, because she has been shot in the face, but it's like so low on her cheek.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it may have missed brain, which is like best case scenario when you're getting shot in the head, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But like, I thought maybe she could have survived. And then, of course, Kristen Stewart, because guys, she just loves Jackie.
Oh, Yeah.
She just squeezes Daisy's throat until she stops breathing. And then the credits come up as we see a sleeping Jackie and then Kristen Stewart dragging Daisy's body into the desert on like the blanket.
And stealing her cigarettes.
Yes, of course, because the tapes don't work, Paige. And that's the real moral of this movie. Tapes didn't work.
Now, I will say I don't know that Daisy would have survived. I think...
I don't know either, man. But
Yeah.
I think had they gotten her medical attention immediately, maybe. It's been like a day and a half since she's been shot.
It's been a day. I think it's unlikely that Daisy would have been alive, period. And I think it's definitely unlikely that she will keep being alive.
Fully agree, yeah. And that's the movie. So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you think about Love Lies Bleeding?
I really liked it. This is exactly my kind of weird.
I thought it was dope. I really liked it too. I really want someone to go in there and just tint the actress's skin green anytime she's a little bit bigger than she's supposed to be. Like in the first shot where right after she kills Franco, when she's like, she looks 8.5 feet tall because her head's almost all the way to the ceiling. It's an awesome shot. It just makes him look so small and his jaw so loose. But like starting there, anytime you see her on screen until Kristen Stewart talks her out of being She-Hulk, you know how like in the Hulk movies,
yes,
it like takes like the love interest to talk Bruce Banner down.
Like Black Widow has to be like, it's okay. Yes. Yeah,
exactly. Like that, we have that moment in this movie. Like you could just add that skin coloration and it would be a She-Hulk movie. And I kind of love that. I needed a lesbian She-Hulk thriller and that's what I got.
Yes.
Anyway, Paige.
My final thought is liked it, love it, want more of it. I enjoyed this immensely. I can't wait to see what this director does next because this was very much up my alley. I very much enjoyed it. It was also up Kristen Stewart's alley and Katie O'Brien's alley, and good for them. Good for them.
For sure, yeah, and good for them for sure. It's nice to see Kristen Stewart kissing someone on screen she actually probably wanted to.
Yeah.
But and not that she doesn't seem convincing in straight roles, because she does, but, you know, it just seems probably like a better experience for them. But, Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, here it is with your fun facts.
Love Lies, fun facts.
Paige, what would the sequel to this be? Like, are you thinking there should be a sequel? Sorry, I'm just going to come out.
No.
Love Lives Queefing? Like, what are we talking about? Wait, Live, Laugh, Bleeding.
Yes.
Paige, we found it.
I don't want a sequel, much like with Coraline Fargia, who did The Substance and Revenge. I just want to see the other things this director will make.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure they'll make plenty forever because this movie is really well done.
They made some fantastic choices with this movie. First being that Ed Harris originally wore very long hair extensions as a joke, but Rose Glass, the director, decided to keep them in the film. Good choice.
Okay, first off, do you think that was Ed Harris's joke? Like, do you think he was like, put the hair on me?
I think so. I think it was.
Because I want to live in a world where Ed Harris is that kind of guy.
I think
so.
What I'm saying? And I think in part it's because Ed Harris has been bald for so long that it's extra funny that it's giant long extensions.
Ed Harris has been so bald that there was no remedy for it when he went bald. So he didn't have a choice, thereby he embraced it. But because at the time he didn't have a choice, and he was just a great actor of the day, it didn't really impact his career that much, which is so rare now. Every
I don't know,
famous, he was like a A-list, like maybe not romantically, but like
but okay, Jason Statham.
True, but also
Vin Diesel, The Rock.
All of those people went bald before it was truly an option.
That's true, but I still think Jason Statham's sexy as hell.
Real power is my man Captain Picard.
Oh, yeah, Jean-Luc.
He could have hair, and he was like, I don't need it.
Don't need it. Earl Grey, hot. Hot.
By the way, Paige, do you know what else Rose Glass directed?
Yes, Saint Maud, which we have not done on Horror Virgin yet, but the people have asked.
But Paige, I am not at all surprised that the director who did this did a horror movie, because there are some like incorporation.
Oh, yeah, this is very close on the line.
Yeah.
Now, much like her character Jackie, Katie O'Brien used to be a competitive bodybuilder, has not competed in a while.
That makes sense.
So did not necessarily have this body already, but like had it in the past.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So knew how to train to get this body.
It is a commitment too. Like,
Yes.
good for them. Good for them.
But also fantastically done. Her hairstyle is inspired by Jennifer Beals' hairstyle from Flashdance. And honestly,
I love
yes,
that.
that's exactly what it looks like. Good job. She learned about the role through social media, where one of her fans from her other many, many projects sent her a post with a casting call for a queer bodybuilder.
Okay.
The cassette being played intermittently is from my Stop Smoking coach, Alan Carr's Easy Way, which is a period accurate.
It actually exists?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wait, is it a real thing or did they make that for the movie?
No, it's a real thing.
Oh my
real thing from the
God.
time too.
Okay.
The character of Louise Langston, aka Lou, was written with Kristen Stewart in mind. And honestly, she fucking crushes it. So like, yes, perfect.
Yeah, she does a great job in this movie. Honestly, everyone does.
Everybody does. This was filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 2022. It did take them about a year and a half in post-prod before they got this to distribution after screening it at Sundance, where A24 won the distribution war over this movie. It did get a standing ovation, but it's Sundance. Everybody does. The second feature film by this director, first one, as we mentioned, is Saint Maud. And A24 is also the distributor for Saint Maud. So I think they knew that they had a director they were already confident in and a movie that had already done well on the festival circuit, which is good.
Yeah.
This is set in 89, which is the year that Katie O'Brien, who plays Jackie, was born.
Wild. Okay.
Also, You're My Sister was born.
Nice.
Now, they began test screenings of this in 2023. So a long post-production on this. But according to one account from the test screenings, the audience was having visceral reactions to the gore, blood, and puking throughout and did not like it. Now, that I have heard similar things about the substance as well, but that's part of what we are calling right now like a new genre of body horror for women by women. And I think this absolutely qualifies. I was not turned off by the gore, but again, I also loved the substance. I got a strong stomach for that shit. So
yeah, we have a horror podcast that does a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, I was probably more bothered by that than you were.
yeah, probably.
And I do think it's very watchable. Like, I don't think it's too much.
Yeah.
You know?
There are a number of films that they have claimed influenced the look of this movie. We've actually done at least one of them on this podcast and want to do another one. But the first was To Live and Die in LA from 1985, A Snake of June from 2002, Showgirls from 1995, which we have done.
What?
And Crash from 1996 that I really want us to do, but is a challenge to find on streaming services.
That's Cronenberg, right?
Yes.
I remember you told me about the premise to that, and I was like, we have to do that.
It is another erotic thriller. And
Yeah.
I really want to do it. Yeah.
That's the one where people get sexually excited by car crashes, right?
Yes. Among other things. It's a wild, fucked up movie.
Great.
The title of this movie comes from a plant's name, but it is also the title of a song by Elton John.
Okay, yeah.
The rest of the fun facts are like, these people played siblings in this movie, and this movie, and this movie. And I was like, yes, Kristen Stewart and Jenna Malone have been in a lot of movies together. And Ed Harris and both ladies have also played parents and children, respectively, a few different times.
It's kind of what they do.
But we'll end on this one. As Jackie works out, the TV has a scene from Gulliver's Travels. Now, I clocked this when I was watching it the first time.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Where it's the scene where Gulliver picks up Gabby and Lilliput, and this foreshadows the ending where Giant Jackie picks up Lou. And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts page. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Love Lies Bleeding when it came out in 2024?
I think your biggest cost here is the actors, because you have top tier acting talent in this movie, and that does not come cheap.
Yeah, I mean, literally you have, I think, 3, possibly 4 household names in this cast.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these locations are easily replicatable on location, but on location in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as we established, which does have film tax subsidies. So I'm going to say this cost maybe 20 grand.
20 grand?
No, 20 million. 20 million.
Oh,
Sorry.
20
My
million.
brain is
Yeah, yeah.
mush. 20 million, yes.
You're good. You're good. So the budget was actually $10 million from what I could see online.
This looks great for 10 million.
I was going to say that. It does, I think, look great for 10 million. Now, this movie technically premiered on March 8th, 2024. And the reason I say technically is because it was only in 8 theaters. It did not rank that week, but it was only in 5 theaters, like I said. Its per theater average, though, was $30,000 per theater, which is a nuts per theater average. Like normally, even if you're like the #1 movie, if you have a nationwide release, your per theater average is like $4,000 or $5,000. So it did very good in those 5 theaters, and then they pushed it out to, instead of 5 theaters, in its second week, it was in 1362. So quite a bit more. And then in that weekend, it was 6th at the box office. And just to put it in time, the #1 movie that weekend was Kung Fu Panda 4. #2 was Dune Part 2. #3 was Arthur the King. #4 was Imaginary. #5 was Cabrini. And #6 was Love Lies Bleeding. So, Paige, what do you think it brought in its opening weekend?
Not much.
Well, sorry, I should say second weekend, because opening weekend it only brought in 150,000. You're right, because it was in only 5 theaters. This is the one where it was in the 1,300 theaters.
So about half a full release, basically.
Well, half a nationwide release for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this makes 1.2 million.
It actually did better, Paige. It made almost 2.5.
Good
It was
for them.
$2.498 million in its opening weekend. In its second weekend, it actually brought in $1.5 billion. So it did okay in the 2 weekends it was in a lot of theaters. It did sort of fall out of theaters pretty quickly after that. But Paige, what do you think it made domestically at the box office?
I would say domestically, because most people I know got into this in streaming. Some people went to go see it in theaters. I'm envious of you if you did. I bet this would have been awesome on a big screen.
I bet it would have been, yeah.
So I'm going to say it probably made about 7 million total.
Paige, that's a marvelous guess. Actually made a little bit more. It was $7.8 million.
All right.
Now, it also brought in $4.4 million internationally. So technically, it did make money. It made $12.2 million. And it, I'm sure, got bought when it went to streaming, and they continued to make money that way. So I'm sure it actually ended up making money over that $10 million budget. But that is your box office. So this week, Paige, you made us watch Love Lies Bleeding. I remember last week we had a secondary option that we were going to do this week if we didn't do that.
Yes.
So what does that mean we're doing this week? I legit forgot what the other option was.
And that is Color of Night, which is technically a thriller mystery, but it is, in fact, an erotic thriller, and it is kind of long. But this is one of the few erotic thrillers that How Did This Get Made has done. It is bonkers from T to B. I'm so excited to watch it.
Oh, shit. This is the one where you see Bruce Willis's
dick.
dong.
Yes.
Do you see just dick neck, or is it like the whole kit and caboodle?
No, apparently it's like the whole kit and caboodle.
Whew.
So for next week, your homework is to watch The Color of Night.
Guys, I cannot wait.
Hey, Todd, do you have any reviews for us?
I do, and I am going to read a Spotify comment from one of our most recent episodes. I'm going to read from our Fatal Attraction episode that just came out today, and this one is from Demons It's a Boy. That's their name, Paige. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah. And they say, or a BBBNE, Todd,
Okay.
comma, breaking, boiling,
Bunny,
and
and
entering. That's the list of crimes that she does. I haven't seen the movie, so when you said a bunny named Stu, I didn't get it, but now I do. I think they didn't get that joke because we hadn't revealed that they turned the bunny into Stu yet.
Yes.
But Demons, It's a Boy, thank you so much for that Spotify comment. We got a bunch of Spotify comments on this. And I mean, it was Fatal Attraction, so I guess we should have expected that. But keep them coming, guys. We love the Spotify comments. And if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep, Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So like, who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
Murderpletion. Bye. Paige is going to drop you down the canyon, nerds.